I'm here with Erin Gerlach, and Erin, you have brought a really neat idea because we're mending, but not in the way you usually think of mending things sort of invisibly. We're mending them beautifully.
We are mending them beautifully. So what we're going to do is we're going to repair broken ceramic pots. And you can do this with pots, saucers, and I'm going to show you a variety of ways that we can complete them.
Cool.
So let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first thing we want to do is, well, you have to find a broken pot or make one yourself.
It's not a problem around my house to find a broken anything, so
Perfect.
I'm sure it's fine.
Perfect. So I'm going to use a quick setting glue. You will want something that is about 60 seconds. And I prefer to use a gel to kind of keep it all in place.
So this means you have to actually find all the broken pieces of whatever broke.
Not necessarily. So I will show you a trick around that also. So when you want to test fit, so start by test fitting, and this gives a good lock. I also like to have blue masking tape of some sort, or any masking tape, to kind of cover it up if it isn't holding, depending on the type of
It's your extra
glue.
hand.
Correct. Yes.
We all could use an extra hand. I mean, I would say clamps get dangerous with pottery just because you don't want it to break again while you're fixing it.
Right. So this...
So you're going to apply glue basically to every of the exposed surface that's fitting in.
Correct. And I'm wearing safety glasses because you do not want to glue your eyeballs closed, right?
That would be a negative, I feel like, because how could you do more crafting if you can't see?
It would. So there's some glue that's on the edge. We can just, for this purpose, we can just wipe it off. You can use a razor blade of some sort or a craft stick.
I was gonna say, obviously you're wearing gloves, so that's why you can rub it in.
Yes. So you want to definitely do that. The inside we're not going to worry about at all because I'm going to show you a way to cover that up on the inside. So this is pretty set already here, but I will put a piece of tape on it just to extra secure it for that.
Now the tape doesn't get glued on.
No, I haven't had problems yet, but if you have a blob of the glue sitting there, it
It
I'm
could.
sure it could, but you could peel it off. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
So what's next?
So then we have to glue the bottom part. Sometimes having more than one kind of glue is going to be helpful also. So
I have to say, I actually have like 6 drawers that are full of different glues, and it's like wet adhesive, dry adhesive, super sticky adhesive, fabric adhesive, because adhesive is literally the thing that keeps everything we make together, and it makes sense that you sometimes have to specialize it.
Yes. All right, so this is the big piece of it. I like to work and get the smaller pieces before I go for the large one. Now this doesn't have a ton of places that are missing. On the back side of this, if I turn this around, there's a chunk missing out of it.
Okay.
And so I can, if the glue sets properly, we'll show you how to repair that one also.
So you're not worrying too much about everything being totally even because we're looking for, again, visible mending, which actually I believe is based on this Japanese idea of Kintsugi, right?
It is making broken beautiful again. So we can do that with, mimic it with gold leaf, mica powders. You could use paints, anything kind of like that would work well. I happen to like the gold leaf and the mica powder for the best results.
So now, would this work on something that you are going to eat out of, or you don't want to mix these adhesives? Like if you had a broken cup or a broken bowl?
You could do this on the outside of it, say for the handle.
Okay.
I would avoid any part that is going to be used for drinking because anything too hot, I'm just really cautious about that kind of stuff.
It makes sense to me.
And you would definitely want to check with the company or brand that you're using
to make sure that it's safe.
That it's food safe, yes.
So better to stick to pots.
It is. So now we're going to use a different kind of adhesive. It's a paste adhesive. So I have, it's an A and B. So I have the part A that I've already dumped into here, and we're going to add an equal amount of the part B.
So when you say it's an A and B so casually, for people who aren't aware of adhesives like that, it just means that the adhesive doesn't become active until the 2 parts get mixed together, right?
Correct. We are also going to pigment this a little bit because as you can see with some of the pots that are over there, and if you can show one, that would be great, the inside doesn't look very pretty and I left them white on purpose so I could show you that you can color this any color that you want. Now, of course, once you add a plant to it, you're not gonna see the inside of it anyhow. But for this one, I think I got this pretty good. I just used a natural type of a pigment.
So here's a color mixing question. The adhesive you're using is kind of white taupe, I guess, and you're mixing a pigment, and so are we assuming that basically it's gonna become a tint as you mix it? Like it's gonna become a lighter version of whatever color?
It depends on what kind of pigment you decide to use. So you could
okay.
use something as small as a dab of oil paint or even frosting pigment, and you would use it just like that, where you get a little pin swipe of color and you drop it in. So you wanna mix this vigorously for 2 minutes. We're not gonna mix this for 2 minutes because we're not. It's the camera. So we are gonna pretend this was 2 minutes and fast forward and hope that this sets up still. So now we're gonna dump it into this pot. And by dumping, I'm taking a risk here because I don't know how you're gonna be able to see this. And we're just gonna spread this along the inside cracks. So this is really reinforcing what you have
So it's
going.
basically double making the glue.
Correct.
It's basically like adding another layer of, it's almost like I'm thinking about in a house when you spackle or do something like that and you fix a hole by sort of smoothing it over with a
Right.
paste on top.
Yes, and you want to do this generously. You don't want to, this isn't a skim coat because again, you're not going to see this part once you're using it again.
And this is practical so that the vase is strong again.
It is, and this is what is lacking when you go to repair a lot of them and you are using just a quick setting glue.
I never thought of that because I have had things that I've repaired break again, and that's probably because it's not enough to put the adhesive in the inside. You need to buttress it from both sides.
Yes. So now that we've got that stickiness, that's the inside, so you can see how that color matches a lot better. And
Okay, and I was gonna say, if you're not gonna take the time to like smooth it down completely.
I am gonna smooth it down
Oh.
a little bit with just a light feathered touch.
So how do we, I know we're gonna decorate the outside differently. How does that work?
So we're gonna use a 2-part modeling clay that is also a adhesive, and we're going to mix parts A and B together. Do you have gloves? Do you want
I
to
have
mix?
gloves
All
and I am
right.
ready to assist you.
A ball of A and a ball of B.
Okay, and I'm gonna mix these together.
Correct.
So now I am mixing these together and and the gray and the white need to go into a kind of marbled look and then just become one single color, and that's how I know that they're mixed,
You
right?
got it. So while you're mixing, I'm gonna start using.
Okay.
And so in order to do this, I will have to take this part off.
So you're taking off the tape and I can see the missing chunk there from the pot. And
know.
actually, I have to
Not
say, I just like the cracks too. They're beautiful.
And that's where the Kintsugi is really a neat technique to use on it because it matches with just about anything that you could do. So to repair a chunk like this, you're just gonna take this adhesive, not touching the inside of the paste. I usually let this dry for at least 6 hours before
Okay.
I mess with it, but we're gonna give it a shot anyhow.
And you're just, again, you're doing this, but sort of on the outside and it just smoothing it down over the crack.
Right, you could even use a press mold if you wanted to make
What
a texture.
is a press mold? It's just literally a mold you press something into?
Yeah, like a texture stamp.
Okay.
Is that
Yes.
for better terms? Texture stamp.
It's not a better term, it's a term that I understand.
Okay, a texture stamp, fair enough. And cover that up or make a bigger blob and then
Okay.
do that if you wanted to. So I'm gonna show you how to repair this without painting it, which
Okay.
I think is kind of fun and where a lot of people are a little afraid to do this because they don't want to paint it or it's not gonna match. So we're just gonna take and make this a beautiful crack now. And I'm going to kind of embellish it.
Okay.
And I have here some just small shell pieces.
Oh, it's gonna look like a mosaic when you're done.
And we're gonna press. This
I
is
like
some
how
crushed rock.
neat and precise you're being, Erin. It really is making me feel empowered to do it.
My kids could do this. I mean, you could have them definitely help with this.
Well, how fun would it be? And do you have a long open time? Like if you wanted to precisely place everything, could you?
Yes, you could definitely sit and do that. But just to give you the idea here.
Such a neat idea. And I can see that, you know, you could use bigger stones, you could use all sorts of textured, interesting things. You can leave some of the adhesive showing. You can, you know, leave some so that it's not showing. I mean, it really is up to you. You could even use glitter, may I suggest, to cover up some of the
glitter.
The clay.
I do like that, or mica powders or things like that. So you'll see that pretty much anything is going to stick into this clay, and it's waterproof when it's done. So you don't have to worry about
that it's going to get ruined.
Your plants being watered. So that's where that comes in.
So if you were going to do the gold leaf, would you do it, just put the gold leaf on top of the clay, or are you putting it on top of the stone, or how does that work?
So when you're done with that.
I think I am done. You tell me, you're the master of this. Does this look like it's one color to you?
It does, but I'm going to switch you and now you can mix this one.
Okay.
Okay, so to do the Kintsugi technique, you could roll it out, and most Kintsugi is not going to be bulky. It's going to be pretty flush with it.
Okay.
So that's where a razor blade or something like that comes in. Now this is just a terracotta pot. This really, the clay does not matter what color it really is. I would avoid black for this unless you want that kind of a technique. And just to be kind of quick about this, to show you.
Yeah, because I want to make sure we see this before we have to wrap up. You can see some of the finished examples of Kintsugi, and they're absolutely beautiful, and they do highlight the cracks as a design feature. And I can even see that even if you didn't have a cracked vase, you could kind of fake it by adding some of this adhesive on the outside and then applying the gold leaf. Because when I'm looking at you applying this gold leaf, again, you're making it look so easy. You just kind of place the leaf on and rub the excess away.
I did, and so just to finish it off, I like to use a little bit of mica powder over top of it to get any spots that the gold leaf did not. So now you have your little, the rest of that
beautiful.
Yes.
It is, and it adds a little something special to your garden. I have to say, these are absolutely gorgeous, a great idea for repairing and decorating the things in our life, because if it's broken, it's not really lost.
No, it's not at all.
Well, thank you so much, Erin.